I recall being informed they were permanent fillers, two distinct types, corrective treatments that ultimately transformed me into something truly beyond description. Under the shimmering lights of stardom exists a more sinister reality, sculpted not by fate, but by surgical steel. For many years, stars and hopefuls have gambled everything chasing perfection, only to end up imprisoned in nightmares featuring bloated faces, permanent scars, and ruined identities. From life-threatening issues to startling changes that left even families in total shock, these narratives show how the steep cost of beauty often ruins much more than it improves. Are you prepared to explore Hollywood's most chilling cosmetic transformations today? Jackie Stallone. When exploring a cosmetic odyssey in 3 acts, Hollywood has encountered various stars, but none truly like Jackie Stallone, a lady who studied horoscopes by day and redesigned her own features by night. As the head of a notably defined family, yes, Sylvester's mother Jackie refused to let time write her conclusion in soft lines or wrinkles. Thus, she behaved as any respectable astrologer wrestling promoter might. She transformed her own face into a literal battlefield for the struggle against aging. Sadly, time resisted and effectively claimed several rounds. Once gifted with prominent cheekbones and an iron will, Jackie's shift soon captured headlines for entirely the wrong reasons. She even teased herself about the results, stating she resembled a chipmunk storing nuts with cheeks inflated to massive sizes, lips that had surely gone astray, and brows that seemed ready for takeoff. Jackie was in her own description the ultimate symbol of cosmetic excess. Yet unlike many Hollywood victims of pride, Jackie embraced it. She never hid. Instead, she tap-danced 3 times per week, lifted weights with her personal coach, and played fine piano, like some diva in denial. Still beneath the humor and tightened skin was a lady who broke the standards. She did not age gently. She aged grandly. Jackie called herself an inspiration for stars frightened of getting old, asserting she grew more famous with each crease she declined to acknowledge. Perhaps that is the specific legacy she leaves today. Not merely as a cautionary sign for plastic surgery gone wrong, but as a proof that you can age, go wild, and still dance your way into eternity with a wink, a grin, and a face saying, "I did it, my style, even if it sacrificed my own natural facial look." Linda Evangelista. This is the supermodel who suffered an ice-cold burn. Linda Evangelista formerly dominated the fashion industry like royalty in a crown of cheekbones. She was the iconic face every artist longed for. The icon who famously would not wake up for under $10,000. Yet when she attempted to stop time literally, her profession and self-esteem hit a jarring halt. In a development sharper than a runway heel break, Linda became a victim of cool sculpting, a popular fat-freezing method that guaranteed no incisions, no recovery, and 0 regrets. What she received instead was a mangled face, firm bulges, and a medical diagnosis that sounded like sci-fi terror, paradoxical adipose hyperplasia. The procedure was intended to make her jawline defined, not rigid. But instead of fading, her fat cells rebelled and multiplied. Lumps appeared where smooth lines once existed. Her supermodel form was ruined by a device that promised to be safe, FDA cleared, and yes, nearly miraculous. Nearly being the vital word here. After 7 treatments, Linda did not just lose shape. She lost her job, her selfhood, and for a period, even her desire to be noticed. Once worshipped, she then hid within scarves and secrecy, but hiding never fit a woman who formerly ruled runways with one look. In 2022, she stepped out of the darkness, not in high heels, but in total legal gear, starting a $50 million legal battle against the creators of cool sculpting. Suddenly, Linda transformed into something even more unique than a model, return a cautionary story fueled by bravery. Her experience broke the illusion of perfect repairs and warned the world that beauty hacks carry a price. often cold, often harsh, always deliberate. Linda Evangelista did more than survive the freeze. She ensured the entire world felt that chill too. Yulia Tarasovich. This is the tragic account of the beauty queen who lost her ability to blink. Yulia Tarasovich was formerly the absolute image of Russian elegance, a pageant queen, popular influencer, and the proud possessor of a face capable of stopping traffic or at least gathering thousands of digital likes. Yet her path leading from Botox to the courtroom feels much less like a standard transformation story and more like a medical horror movie script. Searching for a minor aesthetic update before a major modeling event, Yulia registered for a facelift eyelid work and a mini liposuction procedure. What she received instead was swelling nerve destruction and the haunting capacity to sleep with her eyes completely open. Indeed, you heard that correctly. Yulia absolutely could not shut her eyes or even grin following the surgery. Her previously expressive features now felt permanently suspended, frozen mid-emotion, as if paused by a button. Per her physicians, the severe issues stemmed from a very rare autoimmune condition. Yulia did not believe that explanation for a second. She had undergone earlier procedures without any complications at all. Unless scleroderma could be sparked by poor surgical skill and bad judgment, she remained entirely unconvinced. Rather than contouring her path toward a crown, Yulia found herself caught in a messy legal fight suing the medical center for negligence and extreme malpractice. The doctor predictably cited genetics as the culprit. But Yulia resisted with images, public anger, and a face that, although no longer pageant-ready, was certainly headline news across the globe. Her account went viral not due to how she appeared, but because of how she could not look. 0 smiles, 0 blinks, only frozen beauty, gone tragically, terribly wrong. Yulia's experience is more than a surgical disaster. It is a vital warning that behind every social media filter exists a major risk. Behind every cosmetic refresh might hide a consequence you will certainly regret. Currently, Yulia remains both a warning and a supporter, staring back at an industry promising perfection, but occasionally delivering total paralysis. If you found this story shocking, leave a comment about Yulia below, like this video, and subscribe to our channel for more updates today. Laura Avila. This is the tragic story of a bride who never reached the altar. Laura Avila envisioned 2 goals: a perfect wedding day and a perfect nose. Only one was meant to involve sedation. During 2018, the 36-year-old resident of Texas traveled across the border to Mexico, seeking a rhinoplasty plus breast implant updates. A 2-for-1 beauty bargain, right? However, rather than heading home with an improved profile and new curves, Laura was pulled into a nightmare that no doctor could reverse. Moments after the anesthesia was given, something went horribly wrong. Her heart failed, her brain began swelling, and the facility promising improvement delivered a catastrophe. What occurred? Specifically based on her family's claims, the numbing agent was placed in the incorrect spot directly into her spinal column. That is more than malpractice. It is pure insanity. She moved between several hospitals, each costlier than the previous, while her bodily organs started failing one after another. Her fiancé Enrique, who had organized a tropical wedding in Tulum, was then confronting the impossible, transforming his bride's honeymoon trip into a battle for legal justice. Laura remained on life support machines for several days. Ultimately, her relatives made the agonizing choice to let her pass away. Rather than throwing rose petals for her ceremony, Enrique released her ashes into the ocean exactly where they had intended to exchange vows. Her experience did more than rattle the cosmetic world. It exposed the dangers of the surging medical tourism industry. Since if the price for cheaper surgery is your actual life, that markdown carries a fatal cost. Laura Avila transformed into more than just a bride or a warning story. She became a voice shouting from past the silence, "Never risk your life for a better selfie." Priscilla Presley. Once the eternal inspiration for Elvis Presley. Priscilla Presley possessed a face that could inspire 1,000 romantic ballads. But somewhere between the lyrics of Love Me Tender and high society Hollywood luncheons, she reportedly signed up for a procedure even more risky than dating the king experimental aesthetic injections. And we are not discussing your typical Botox treatments. We are referring to industrial-grade silicone, the variety utilized to lubricate automotive components. Yes, that is not a mistake, car parts. During the early 2000s, Priscilla reportedly became a patient of a man named Dr. Daniel Serrano, though doctor might be an overstatement. He was not a licensed physician in the US, yet he was quite fond of making women's cheeks resemble inflated pool floats. Serrano promised a Botox alternative so sophisticated it had never been approved because it was never intended for human faces. The outcome: think wax museum after a major heat wave. Observers began noticing something strange about Priscilla's cheeks. They appeared immobile. Her eyes looked smaller, not due to the aging process, but because of heavy fillers rising like a sluggish cosmetic landslide. While Priscilla never verified the full list of her treatments, plastic surgeons speculated extensively about facelifts, laser procedures, and enough filler to supply a beauty convention. However, here is the surprising part: Priscilla did not disappear. She attended red carpets, managed corporate empires, and confronted the rumors directly. Even if her face occasionally looked back a bit too rigidly, despite the criticism, she never expressed regret for selecting her own direction. In a society that adores permanent youth, perhaps she simply took a small detour through a mechanic's shop. Her narrative remains a high-profile cautionary tale. Beauty is never inexpensive, and when your injectable has a serial number, it is time for a second consultation. Priscilla Presley might not have the face from the 1960s, but one fact is certain: she remains rock and roll royalty, just with some added octane. If you find her resilience impressive, please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and comment your thoughts on her transformation below. Donatella Versace. Frequently called the diva who chose Botox over broccoli, Donatella Versace does not simply wear fashion, she embodies it. This platinum blonde legend, sporting the tan of a Phidian deity and the lips of a Bratz doll, evolved into much more than a designer. She became a literal logo. Yet behind those gold safety pins and glamorous gowns exists a story of transformation that might make even Medusa blink. Her path toward aesthetic notoriety started early. At age 11, she bleached her hair because her older brother Gianni claimed it looked stylish. From that point, the change accelerated quicker than one of her fashion models in high stilettos. By the 2000s, her appearance had turned into a global guessing game: exactly how much is makeup and how much is filler. The response, per several cosmetic surgeons who have never met her but enjoy speculating, is a great deal: Botox injectables and laser treatments. Donatella's cosmetic routine reads like some dermatologist's long shopping list. But here is the interesting part: she is not concealing it. Actually, she once famously joked that natural beauty is strictly for vegetables. You heard that correctly. Donatella has no desire to look like a squash. She intends to look like a Versace, and she certainly does carved otherworldly and proudly synthetic. Critics argue she has gone way too far. Her followers claim she represents owning one's image. And Donatella. She simply shrugs, zips up her leather, and marches into the spotlight like a high-tech goddess with a fashion-focused soul. Admire her or criticize her, you cannot deny she has redefined aging in the fashion world, not by aging gracefully, but defiantly on 6-inch heels with a forehead smoother than silk organza. Ultimately, Donatella Versace is not attempting to appear younger. She is striving to look more like Donatella. Mission accomplished.